growmybag.tv. Hope all is well with you and yours. What's good, what's good, what's good? No, I'm not 100%. Getting there, though. Definitely getting there. Feeling a little bit stronger. Had a long nap this afternoon. Get to pick up my son at like 3 a.m. this morning or tomorrow morning. So that's going to be fun. See how much sleep I get. Yeah, I'm not expecting much. Not expecting much. So today was kind of an eventful day. It was kind of an eventful day. And some people might think that it wasn't eventful. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I did not put up tonight's question. Let's see, what should be... Actually, I did put up tonight's question. I'm sitting here, I'm looking dead at it. Who should police crypto in the United States? The SEC or the CFTC? Or other. If you say other, drop it down there. Just saying. Do it. Do it! Thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself today. And I picked other. I believe both should play a role. I'm with you on that. I think the issue that I have is that they both need to play a role and they both need they need to sing from the same hymnal, meaning we're going to do securities. This is the definition of securities. We're going to do commodities. This is the definition of commodities, both as far as crypto is concerned, right? Which means it takes more thought. Any thought, because I don't believe that there's been enough thought as there should be toward crypto. I don't think they've actually sat down and understood what does cryptocurrency or what do cryptocurrencies represent in our world, not our country, our world, right? Excuse me. And the reason why I say that is because we all know that crypto is stateless, meaning it's not controlled by any single country. And any single country that's thinking they will control it is a country that I wouldn't want to trust. See where I'm going with this? Because they're thinking with a fiat hat on. And that's not the way it works. It's not the way it's meant to work. That's not it. So yeah, I would have a problem with that. DJ Biscuit, I can see what you're saying. When I had my crypto stolen, the FBI sent me to IC3, Incident, Crime, and Complaint, which was just a joke. Yeah, because they didn't know what to do with it. They had no idea what to do with it. Right? And back in the day, they were kind of like, it doesn't have any value. Who cares? Well, Silk Road would have painted the picture, right? But they weren't really paying any mind to certain things. That's what I mean by let's take a pragmatic approach to things. That's what I mean. And yes, you've invested in yourself. That's what I'm talking about, DJ Biscuit. So, stitches in your leg. That's not fun. Welcome to the Stitch Club. Because I've got those. Or I had those. And my team is still working. So when I look at today and the value that's placed on crypto, we've kind of got to look at things a little bit differently, right? I mean, you're talking about a new way of transmitting value from one entity to another entity, no matter where that entity is, with a means of valuing that asset in a uniform and universal manner. Take that in for a minute. Because if you look at the prices right now, yes, you can see Forex level changes in crypto, same crypto, different platform, that kind of thing. But for the most part, it carries the same value, or cryptos carry basically the same value around the world. So, given that idea, we're not talking about a single state fiat. We're talking about global digital value. When you consider global digital value, you have to look at how that value is leveraged within your own state. So in the United States, what is that? How do I determine that that has a value? And then what are the rules of the road? Is it that once you're decentralized, right? Once you've reached a point where no single entity or group of entities can control that particular asset, like what's that test? What's that test? Is it Cardano level? Is it Bitcoin level? I use those two examples because they're very unique in the space. So yes, as you ponder that question, who should police crypto in the United States? The SEC or the CFTC or other? I want you to think about it like that, because it's not the same as policing, how things operate given your state-backed fiat. It's different. It's different. So yeah, it seems like a simple question because everybody hates the SEC and everybody's going to say the CFTC. I want you to give it some thought first before you jump on a bandwagon. There was always supposed to be a separation and a partnership between the two agencies, securities and commodities. Right? Securities and commodities, they were supposed to go hand in hand in terms of policing. We'll police this, you'll police that, and every now and then there's crossover. But we needed definition for what they are, what they do, how they act. And then you have to think about, well, what's that look like on a global scale? What am I allowed to do with it? Who am I allowed to do it with? All that good stuff. Some big questions, some big adult questions right there. Just saying, you got to put on your adult pants now. That adult hat. What else do we have going on in the news? WeBus International has initiated a $300 million XRP treasury. And the idea is they want to facilitate borderless payments. That's really cool. I'm really not caring about the company. I'm not caring about anything else other than that part where they say they want to facilitate borderless payments. People need to think about it like that. That's why I gave you that whole diatribe at the beginning of the show. That's why I gave you the whole diatribe. And it's because the idea of cross-border or even borderless transactions, the idea that I can give you value, whether you be in person or in a far off land, that I can give it to you as easily both ways and have it carry through, have that value carry through. Aha. There are bigger ramifications, there are bigger impacts on the globe's fiats. The world's fiats. So yeah, that's what I'm paying attention to when I read that story. That's where my head goes when I read that story. All right. What else do we have? We have the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has voluntarily dismissed its lawsuit against Binance and CZ, Changpeng Zhao. Voluntarily. Did we not realize that was coming? Right? Did we not? Everybody saw that coming, right? Hootanic into his house. Rick Ritchie, my man. And Rick Ritchie, I forgot to say, I remember you telling us about that too. I mean, when you first said it, I thought it was funny. And when you say it this time, I still think it's funny, but a sad kind of funny. Like that was the state of our affairs, that we weren't taking something seriously. Right? So looking at how the SEC has dropped this case, we could see it coming, because as soon as CZ got out of jail, he's all lovey-dovey with World Liberty Financial, talks of a pardon. They're in deals with Pakistan. See where this is going? I'm just saying. It just seems interesting to me. It all seems very interesting to me. The FDIC would give you the same treatment because the FDIC is not, that's not their place of business. That's why they would give you the same treatment. So then we've got Bloomberg. I was just reading the notes. So then we have Bloomberg analyst Eric Balchunas predicts Meta Platforms Inc., Meta, will lead corporate Bitcoin integration. Believable. From a, not just a service perspective, meaning using it just for their services. He means like using it. Huge. It's not small. It's not small. You want to know who else is being rumored to start getting into the Bitcoin game? Microsoft. That's right, Microsoft. The rumors are starting to spread. I told you, we need a retailer over here, a retailer over there, more retailers. People want to be able to walk into a store, whip out their wallet, boop, boop, and keep it moving. Yeah, I pay no mind to people. I think everything is a lie. I'm a kid from the Bronx. I think everything's a lie until you prove otherwise. Now, we've also got Bitcoin's price remaining within a certain price space. However, it is lower. I mean, we're trading like what, in the 105s, 106s these days? When we were at the 111s, it's at 105,876 right now. Why did it drop? Why, oh why? There should be no guess. The word tariff was used. Tariffs were found illegal, and he said, no, they're just not. Nah. And you know what the real deal is that the street doesn't like his tariffs. Regular people don't like his tariffs. The court systems don't like his tariffs. The rest of the world don't like his tariffs. The rest of the world is not even paying attention to his tariffs. That's really what's going on. Yo, my man Sean, what's good? Did you invest in yourself today, young man? I need to know. And you can't just show up here and not say, you know, how's hubby doing? I'm just saying. Just don't. Yeah, no. Get chop, get with it. So when I look at inappropriate comment, when I look at everything that's going on, look at the global economy, and I say the word tariff. Courts came back and said your tariffs are illegal. What do? I come back with, I'm going to do something else with tariffs. And the rest of the world and the stock market just kind of went, yeah. And so, when was it? Last night or the night before last? I was groggy. Captain Banana said taco. And it sounds like a joke, but I saw the interview with the guy that actually coined the phrase. And I sat there and I was like, holy smokes. From a monetary perspective, from an economic perspective, he's literally just telling me that, yeah, it's all a manipulation game. It's all a part of the money-making operation. I'm going to do something, say something, not only to take your eyes off of what I have going on over here, but also fill my own coffers. Me and that of, my friends. And literally, people started referring to it as the taco trade. Dead serious. I spoke to one of my friends that was a trader. He's like, oh, yeah, no, that's a thing. I was like, you're joking. He was like, no, that's been a thing for a few weeks. What? It's like, yeah, everything that you're talking about, right? Everything that you're talking about, playing the ups and downs, playing the volatility. So you wouldn't be playing if you controlled the volatility. What? Yeah, but that's what a lot of people are saying right now. You use the word when you want to move something, and when you move something, you're making money on the up and the down. Because you know what you're doing, you know when you're going to do it, so you're positioning everything beforehand. I mean, so I had a hard time this weekend. You go out there and you say, well, tariff, and then before a holiday weekend, you send everybody into a holiday weekend with, really? That's amazeballs. That right there is amazeballs. And then you come out of the weekend, court system says, yeah, nah, good luck with that, bro. Go pound sand. That's manipulation. That's textbook manipulation. So the fact that traders were using that term, the taco trade, and here's the thing, it's not a new concept from what I understand. The phrase is new, but the concept of it is not. And he said something simple to me. He was just like, yeah, just go look at the past. It's tried and true. It got coined because it happens so much. And I just sat there and I was just like, oh my God, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I'm that stupid. Why? Because the pattern was always there. The pattern was always there, and I didn't see it. I didn't see it until now. That I was telling you guys that, yeah, you can see when this happens and it goes bam, and you see when that happens and it goes bam, and it goes bam, and it goes bam, and it goes bam, and it goes. So yeah, I pay attention to that. It affects my bags. Had the word not been used, the T word, where would Bitcoin be? I'm just wondering, where would Bitcoin be? 120, 130, where would it be? Because it was held back by that. And then what do you see that's going on while it's being held back? There are certain entities that are now accumulating large sums of it. Huh. Does that make sense? It kind of makes sense, right? It kind of makes sense. I don't understand manipulation. You have to spell out Nobody's going to understand that. And no, I'm not giving it too much credit. I'm giving it the right credit. You were meant to pay attention to something while something else was going on. All the other something else's that's going on, we should be paying attention to. I don't know about you guys, but I have been. Right? So look at the tax package. The tax package, if you actually read it, you know what's actually funny? I've made comments about the tax package and almost nobody's come at me. Only one person. Only one person's come at me. Because I was like, well, if you didn't read it, then there's no reason to have a conversation with you. If you didn't at least research it, there's no reason to have a conversation with you. So the tax package obviously favors the wealthy and damages the non-wealthy, right? Because those are the only two pieces. So we're going to ask people that don't have money for more of it, and the people that have it for less of it. Those are facts. Go look at it. Those are facts. They're in the bill. Now, you look at pardons that are coming out, and we're pardoning people that literally owe the government millions of dollars. Millions. Stop there. This is what people mean by having people pay their fair share. Some people are saying, well, have people pay their fair share, when what they really mean is have them pay at all. Do you know how many rich people actually don't file taxes? Because not filing your taxes is tremendously less of a crime. It's not barely to be even considered a crime. Not filing your taxes versus filing false taxes. filing false taxes will get you landed in jail. For sure, as they say. For sure. Holmes House, that's what I'm talking about. Do your research. 106 was the floor. It starts... Rick Ritchie, didn't you say 106 as well? But we just busted through the floor because we're at 105 and change. I told you my floor is 100. So yeah, guys, when you know, some people get on me, oh, you're talking about, you know, politics and all that stuff. No, look at how directly it correlates to how much money we're not collecting. I have to go do some research on it. Somebody's had to have done a study on how many people have yet to file their taxes. And I don't mean for a little while, I mean like for years. For years. How many rich people, how many millionaires have not filed their taxes? By the way, one of the people that he pardoned, yeah, they withheld, I think, like $10 million from their employees for their taxes and never paid them. I think that was the guy that was going to go to jail for $4.4 million, right? He owes $4.4 million. Mom went to dinner for $1 million, and then he got a pardon. You know what that pardon means? That pardon means, yes, I'm guilty, because that's what it means. It means you're admitting guilt. But it also meant the guy didn't have to go to jail, nor did he have to pay the $4.4 million. He's done. Wiped. Yeah. Those TV stars went to jail because they owed millions in taxes. Millions. They got out of jail. I wonder if they ever paid the tax money. Oh, yeah. When I look at this stuff, I'm just like, yeah, you know, people are not paying attention to, and Lieutenant, you're sort of right. It's not just tariffs. It's anything that will take your eyes off of where your eyes need to actually be. It's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. So, yo, Paula, what's going on? What's good? Oh, something else that happened today. Middle of the night. Yeah, I was up. I got up. And because I had gone to sleep, I had taken a long nap during the day. Like right after work, I just went, oh, I knocked out for a little bit. Just before the show. That's why I was still groggy. And so I get up in the middle of the night. Let me look at my phone. It's like 3 o'clock, 3:30. I see this article. Maybe that deal with Telegram is a little premature. What? Yo, I could not get to my phone fast enough. I could not trade fast enough to capture the savings. Capture the money that I was making off a ton coin. I was fully in the black on ton. Fully in the black, deeply in the black on ton coin. Deeply. I had already taken my money out, you know, my initial money out. I was just sleeping on some money. Well, it had gone up again because of the deal announcement that I had told you guys about a few days ago. Guess what? Buddy Boy was a little premature with that. They were just yapping. There's no contract. There's no, you know, deal underway. There's no handshake. There's no nod. There's nothing. And then Elon came out and said, yeah, no, that's not going on. Oh, so we went up based on false news from Pavel Durov, I think his name is. Oh, cool. I'm going to sell right now. I sold and I dumped right into Pax G. Sold it all right into Pax G. I tell you guys all the time, and it's repetitive, and I know it is. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Ham's House. I tell you guys that all the time. All the time. I tell you about how little snippets of news get passed by. And the only way that you're going to catch those little snippets of news is if you're paying attention. Well, I paid attention. I got out. Got me some gold. Got me some more gold. Called mom, said, Mom, you need to get in on this. She was like, bet. So yeah, when I look at things, I pay attention to all that stuff that happens. Thank you, Hutanik. Right? Because you can see when things are coming. And the first thing that popped in my head was, wait a minute, this is coming out while everybody's asleep, not paying attention, snoozing on it. And I was like, you know what? What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? I'm already in the black. And then went up another 8-10%, right? And I was like, bet, I'm out. I'm going to take it. And it doesn't matter if I bought PAX G and it takes a little bit of a dip. Because in my mind, oh, PAX G is going to soar. It's going to go up. And I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that. Because my PAX G, like Hutanik says, is going to do fine even when Bitcoin tanks. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll hold value better than Bitcoin, at least for a little while longer. So I pulled it out. And plus, I'm not going to say that I'm heavy on Bitcoin, but I was light on PAX G. So I said, all right, let me get some PAX G. Let me get some PAX G. That was the idea. That was the idea. So I'm just looking at it and I'm kind of like, yeah, that's where we want to be. Right? Yo, Captain Banana in his house. Did you invest in yourself today, young lady? So yeah, I'm paying attention to all these things that come out that can affect my bag. Something that I'm paying attention to now that I wasn't necessarily paying attention to before is a company called Donut. I'm not even going to play. That's kind of a cool name. That's kind of a cool name. So Donut got what, $7 million? Yeah, $7 million in funding to start an AI-powered crypto browser. Say what? Hold it. Is that the one or did I mix it up? Yep. That's the one. Imagine an AI-powered crypto browser. I would wonder what it does. Like, does it bring you all the news about various cryptos? Does it make it easier to do that? And then how do I test to make sure that it's right? People constantly ask me, Eddie, why do you have your distributed architecture for artificial intelligence? Well, one, because we've got checks and balances built in. We're using like 7 different LLMs to cross-check each other. To do the same job, cross-check each other, and merge what we have so that we can come up with the right reports. There's nothing special about it. I mean, except that we can say it's AI. But yeah, if you're one of these big companies, they already have this stuff. They already have toys like that. Right? But we're at a level now where now everybody can have toys like that. So that's what we did. Yeah, I've tried using Copilot. It's garbage. You want to know why it's garbage? Because it's OpenAI. That's all it is. That's all Copilot is OpenAI. Ours is vastly different in that we take in ideas from OpenAI, DeepSeek, Quen, and a whole bunch of others to say, okay, we want you guys to go do this and come back with your reports. Then we compare and contrast. Verify what's correct. Merge, here's the report. And we do that for a lot of the data that we have in-house. So imagine, just saying, imagine what we could do for our clients. Oof, Lordy. Oh, and just so you know, for those people in the United States, you want to know what's going on with AI right now? The IRS is using AI for machine learning, taking your tax forms and feeding it in. And why? Because they want to catch people that have S corporations. So the scenario that I got from my CPA was, here's an S corporation. S corporation is making $800,000. The owner of the S corporation is being paid $60,000. Oh, there's a problem there, now isn't there? Now, it's not so a lot of solo people will go do that. Now, if you've got a staff and you're paying yourself 60 and you've got a number of other people that you have to pay, well, okay, that adds up. That math is mathing. But if you're a solopreneur with an S corp and you're pulling down 800 grand and you're paying yourself 60, not even 10%, you're paying yourself 60, ding, 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 red flag. And it will analyze your whole thing to see if everything's correct. Are you writing off things that you should not be writing off? Does anything else look suspect? Because it could. Maybe you're paying yourself 60 and you're paying a trust. You're funding a trust. Oh, okay. Well, but it's going to cause you to get looked at. So yeah, there are things that you should be talking to your CPA about. There are things you should be speaking with your CPA about. So yeah, pay attention, folks. Pay attention out there. Pay strict attention. Okay. What else we have? Bybit obtained a markets in crypto assets license, MiCA. So Bybit's moving. Have you guys been paying attention? What good news have you heard from Coinbase? I've heard good news from Binance. I've heard good news from Kraken. I've heard good news from OKX. Excuse me. I've heard a lot of good news about a lot of different browsers, a lot of different exchanges that are out there, centralized exchanges. Crypto King Coinbase, well, Queen, right? They're second to Binance. They need some good news. They have not had any. I'm sorry, Captain Banana, but that's funny. You and Siri do not get. You guys need some therapy. I think you guys should go to therapy, and work that out. Just saying. Let me see what we wrote. I'm glad you're CC about yours. Okay. Good news is that hackers have not called me this week. Oh, they've been calling me all week. All week. I told you guys this before, and I don't think anybody heard me. I'll say it again. I was listening to an official. I think the interview was on 60 Minutes or something like that. Excuse me. And they literally said, a U.S. official, they literally said, there's probably not a single person in the United States that has a social security number whose social security number isn't on the dark web. At $2 a pop, that's, just saying. Hutanik and I look a lot alike. I could definitely parade around as perspicacious. I can definitely do that. Or not. But you know what I mean? For $2, I can buy just about everything about you. Name, date of birth, medical records. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. Everybody has been touched by some kind of a hack. And if you've been touched by one, you've been touched by many. There need to be ramifications for companies and municipalities to actually tell people as soon as a hack happens. As soon as they figure out that there's a hack, they need to let the public know. Because we need to protect ourselves. We had a a city, a small city, Sheboygan, Wisconsin, I believe it was. They got hacked. It affected townspeople. And it happened October 2024. Remember that night I was sitting here trying to count? Yeah, it's October 2024. 7 months ago. Lordy. And everybody's just finding out now. Your own government had your stuff stolen, and now you find out. Here's something else that hackers get to use. They get to use and ghost phone numbers. So you'll get text. I got a text saying I need to pay my parking tickets. I don't park my car unless it's in a garage. I don't do that. I don't park on streets. It's insane. It's crazy. I mean, unless it's on like my street. So you're not going to come in this neighborhood unless you belong in this neighborhood. And we will all know if you belong in this neighborhood or not. You know how it is. You own a house. You kind of know who's in your neighborhood. You kind of know their family's cars. You're going to notice if something is unfamiliar. A hoopty in this neighborhood would have a problem. And it wouldn't be coming from me. No. Other people in this neighborhood. Woo, yeah. So, yeah, I pay attention to them. Hey, how you doing, Mr. and Mrs.? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we recognize. But I sit back and I just look at the situations out here and I'm just like, wow. People are really not paying attention to what's going on around them, and it's dead in their face. Pay attention to the news. Do your own research. Know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Perfect example. Go back to me and my deal this morning. Middle of the night, I roll over. I see something. I'm able to act like that. Why? Because I know my entries and exits. Not just a number that I need to be at for a particular asset for me to pull profit or, stop my loss. But how I'm going to do that? What's the path for me to sell or the path for me to buy? You've got to know that. You've got to be able to turn that over real fast. You shouldn't have to think about it. You should not have to think about it. So yeah, I'm telling you now, these are things you need to contemplate. These are things you need to contemplate. This is why I kind of remind you every night, several times a night. It's not a small deal. Then you have Citigroup's equity strategist, Scott Cronert, suggests that a $2 trillion deficit could positively impact the economy and S&P 500 earnings by stimulating growth through increased government spending. How does he have a job? You and Kevin are more than happy to come over. Come on. Just really? Increased government spending. I'd like to slap the snot out of that guy. And not violently, you know what I mean? Just common sense. Let's play this over again. Corporations are throwing jobs overseas, especially technology jobs. We've already given away manufacturing. We're talking about clothes, computer chips, car parts. We're exporting jobs. We're importing people to do the jobs that people here can do. And this guy wants to increase government spending. How about we have those companies bring the jobs back? Manufacturing would take a long time, but still, it can happen. But how about we start with bringing back those jobs? That's number one, because the top four banks, I told you last night, top four banks have made record profit, but the top four banks also outsource a ton of jobs, offshore a ton of jobs. I have a problem with that. And then they want tax write-offs. Have you lost your mind? No. How about we have the people that are supposed to be paying, have the companies that are supposed to be paying, pay their fair share of taxes, and the government won't have to run up the deficit. See where I'm going? How about we take the credit cards away from politicians that don't use them properly? There'd be an idea. I did some research the other day. I was looking at what Doge was trying to do, and I was looking at what actually goes on in the government. Doge just wanted to, cut US aid. Why? Because they were investigating Tesla and his other companies. So that got gutted. We fired a whole bunch of people. Do you realize if we fired every single employee, direct government employee, not the contractor, stuff like that, but direct company employee, not military people, but employees, we fired them, we would save a whopping $4.8 8%. What did Doge do? They didn't do anything. They reported about a whole bunch of contracts that had already been killed. So we wasted money there. We waste money with the president flying back and forth between the White House and Florida. $3 million a pop. $3 million a pop. And a lot of that money going to his own hotel. Well, home. Yeah. Because we have to pay for that. Whenever he goes to one of his places, we pay for that. That's waste. I think that's waste. I think that it's a very big deal. You know, I never paid attention to, you know, previous presidents stopping by in local places, real local stores. And I was like, oh, now I get it. It's to build up that economy. It's a big deal when the president of the United States walks into your establishment. That shock, that surprise, that, oh, I want some ice cream. Can I have some ice cream, please? Like, holy moly. It was even joked about in a few movies. American President was one of them. Michael Douglas. What's her name? Annette Bening. Funny movie. He did it. Just wanted to order some flowers. And I just sat back and I was like, wow, that's actually an interesting message. Let's build up small and medium-sized businesses because they're the backbone of the country. And Hutanic, just to bring it home for you, do you know who the tariffs hurt the most? Yeah, them, me, small and medium-sized businesses. That's who gets hurt the most. I mean, not me so much because we're a consulting firm, but it hurts companies like mine. Why? Because they have to pay tariffs on it. I mean, it indirectly affects me because I'm, you know, small and medium-sized business. We make X amount of money, blah, 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 blah. You know, we get up every day, we brush our teeth, comb our hair, for those of us that have hair. And we have to knock stuff out. We have to buy products, we have to sell products, all that kind of stuff. And they get hurt the most because those products come from where? Wherever they're being manufactured, because they're not manufactured here. Aha. You see how that rolls forward. But meanwhile, we want to raise those taxes and lower those taxes. Major impacts. Major impacts. It's an amazing thing when you have wealthy people and non-wealthy people say the same thing. Tariffs bad. I'm just saying. Keynesian economics. Don't know what that is, bud. You're going to have to educate me on Keynesian economics. Don't know that. Rick Ritchie, I love you, man. But I think you knew that already. Thank you for that. I'm not going to repeat it because it sounds, self-aggrandizing, and I don't want to do that. But thank you for that, man. I greatly appreciate you. Seriously. So yeah, I need all of us to kind of pay attention to these little things that affect your bags. Things that some people don't pay attention to because they think it's not going to affect their bag. It is going to affect your bag. But I'm shocked that an equity strategist with that kind of experience is going to say $2 trillion deficit is going to be fine. Because the next bill is a $4 billion deficit increase. That's no, we need to take in the money that we're owed. I didn't know that we're so rich that we can write off $4.4 million over there, $10 million over there, so on and so on and so on. Excuse me. I mean, imagine. Just saying, I pay attention to these things. Keynesian economics advocates using active government policy to manage aggregate demand to address or prevent economic recessions. Thank you for that education. Wow. Keynesian economics advocates using active government policy to manage aggregate demand to address or prevent economic recessions. Damn, didn't know there was a term for it. That's the one. Keynesian economics. See, I was saying Keynesian. Thank you. So yeah, just how we have to pay attention to this stuff. More importantly, we need to pay attention to our elected people that don't know about this stuff. Because if they don't, how can we expect them to help actually manage the country? Because that's their job. That's what we're electing them to do. And if they can't do that job, we need to not have them there. Simple as that. I don't need a bunch of people going into government and becoming wealthy. You don't find that to be a problem? I find it to be a problem. Nobody should go into government, get free benefits for life after serving like 1 or 2 terms, and then come out wealthy. Wealthy. Not rich, wealthy. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. It's often volatile and can lead to inefficient economic outcomes like recessions, or it suggests that governments can use fiscal and monetary policies to influence spending, production, and employment. The core idea is that the aggregate demand, the total spending in the economy, is often volatile and can lead to inefficient economic outcomes like recessions or inflation. Go figure. Too many have been in office since the 70s. Dude, Red Star, man, don't. You know what, Red Star? Take your little behind, go sit in the corner. I haven't sent anybody in the corner in a long time. You go take your little behind, you go sit in the corner. Don't come here with all just logic stuff, joining the conversation with even more logic than these other people. Everybody's got this whole logic thing going on tonight, and I don't know what it's about, but everybody's going to get sent to the corner. Because damn, tonight is... people are just coming out the woodwork with stuff. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. Listen to these people. This is what I love about this community. Somebody comes up with something and I go, I don't know what that is. Can you please give me a definition? And people are all over it. And Red Star, you're doing invest in yourself today. Oh, and now you think it's funny. Oh, and Paula thinks it's funny. Both of y'all. Both. B-O-F-E. Both y'all go in a corner. Y'all are hilarious. But seriously, take advantage of this community. Tell your friends about this community. This community has so many smart people. Let me put it to you like this. I'm dumb, but I'm smart enough to go look stuff up. Hence, not so dumb. If we would just do that, if all of us did that, and we're ready to rock and roll to go share. Because think about this. Somebody used a term I did not know. I'm in the middle of a show. I can't look that up. They quickly come back with, hey, here you go. Sorry about that. Bam. This community is always looking to learn. As a whole, in aggregate, we're looking to learn. We're looking to learn. And we're talking about learning about things that can affect our bags. And I'm trying to teach everybody that almost everything can affect your freaking bags. Bad government policy in another country can affect your bags. I don't know. Look at Garantex in freaking Russia. They used to be called a different name. Then they changed the name to something else. And they went back to business helping nefarious people. And their government's really slow to move to actually get rid of them. Oh, okay. Just saying. It's closed for renovation. Is that what you meant? Smart asses all the way. Yo, man, Red Star, thank you. You want to know about Z? I don't know what that is. Tell me about it. What's ZBCN? I have no idea what that is. So you're asking. Are you asking for a review? Is that what you're doing? But you're paying for it. You're saying, hey, I'll give you a tip if you go look it up. What do you know about them? What's their rank? What's their market cap? Ooh. If it's what I think it is, I would have a little bit of issue with it. But look how Rick Ritchie's not wrong. It has been on fire. So it's got to, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I have issue with it because already it's at 111, ranked 111 on CoinMarketCap. It's got a market cap of $548.2 million. Looking at it right now. But what do they do? ZBEC Network, you did bring that up. That's right. You did bring that up. It's come a long way. Holy moly. Here's my only fear. You cannot judge everything by something else, right? But it's come up so fast that it reminds me of, dare I say, Mango Networks. Not Mango Networks. Mantra. Reminds me of Mantra. Mantra, Mango. Just saying. Mantra. I mean, I did it again. Yeah, Mantra. So that's what it reminds me of because that's real fast. Real fast. Real-time payments. And I'm glad you got in early, though. I'm glad you got in early. But I have a little bit of fear about that one. Like, have you looked at it again? Like, have their tokenomics gotten better? Circulating supplies, 79. Total supplies, somebody's holding 20 mil of it. Volume market cap 51.33. Yeah, see, I got a problem with that. I have to get into their use case. I'm still not comfortable buying it, but they have been on a rip. Let's look at it. 1 year. I'll take you along with me. There you go. Boop, 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 boop. Oh yeah, this right here, right there. I don't know about you, but this jump right there, I'm sorry. That gives me cause for concern. Oh, hell yeah. You rich. You rich. Dang. Wait a minute. You rich like that? And all you gave me was $2? No, just joking. But I do have an issue with how fast they're popping up now. I'd have to do deeper research on what they're doing and how they're doing it. Go Fatima. She likes it too. And yes, she invested in herself today. Thank you for letting me know. Rick Ritchie says that everybody's saying they have good partnerships. Like I said, my only fear is that they're shooting up so fast. Just gives me a little, I like slow and steady. I don't like that fast pop up. Because usually the ones that have a fast pop up have a little bit of a problem. Hutanic, I think you're absolutely right. I think that number is going to be way higher, though. All right, so look at it like this. There are millions of coins and tokens out there. Millions. The top 250 can take you down to 100 mil. So if you said the top 500 survive, 500 survive. You're all the way down to the micros when you go top 500. I'm just saying. You can go do your research on that, but you're talking like micro. That percentage becomes like 98 point or 99 point something, right? Because there are millions of coins out there, and if they all get washed, you're left with these survivors. Oh, I forgot to can I? There you go. That's what I'm talking about. I forgot to hit the love button on that. Thank you, Red Star. Red Star always shows up with something. Always shows up with something. That's a big deal. That's, again, I'm pointing out somebody that this project does not necessarily do it for me. But Red Star showing up with receipts. Showing up with receipts. Like, hey, I got in. I did this. I did the research. Did you guys do your research? Hey, take a look at it. Captain Banana. It gives me cause. It gives me pause, right? It gives me pause. But I would gladly do the research on this and be like, oh, okay, well, like if I was into it, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I have no reason to get into it. They're not doing anything different than anybody else. Shiba Inu, just Cardano, anybody. They're not doing anything different than anybody else, except they're making money real fast. Now, can you still get in here? That's the question I have for you. Do you think a person can still get in here at 0.006804 and still make money? That's the question. Yeah, I always pull my initial investment. Always. I always pull my initial investment plus 10%. That's that Warren Buffett in me. Plus 10%. What did Denzel say? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving with something. Dead serious. Need to peep that. Need to peep that. So yeah, that's what I'm paying attention to. Right? Oof, nobody wants to see that. Lord of mercy. Eesh. There you go. That's the right one. So yeah, my question would be, from this point, do you still think it's going to make money? Because as it goes up that list, it's got others that it has to contend with. It's got others it has to contend with. On 60K... So 300 in total. I'd be yanking out my 100 and just keep playing with other people's money. I'd yank out 110 so I can say, well, I made money on it. And everything else is, do what I want. You're going to ride it to 1 cent? You think it's going to hit 1 cent? You think it's going to hit 1 cent? It's a D-pins. Real world value across many core functionality, decentralized. Just what deals do they have? Zbeck Network acquired Science Card, expanding mission-driven finance. Okay, so they bought Science Card. Okay, and that happened like just a little bit ago. I'm not. See, off the news, I'm expecting a pullback then. I'm expecting a pullback because they're going up on the purchase of Science Card. So I'm thinking that after that runs its course, it's going to pull back, and maybe that's a place where I would get in if I was interested in getting in. That's what I would do. But yeah, go for Tima. I have a 10% rule. I want to yank my money when I can pull out 100% of my initial income, my initial capital, plus 10% in profit, and the rest of that profit just sits and chills. And what I do is I'm taking back my money to go play, and that 10%, I can take that 10% and split it between go play or drop it into my dry powder fund. Whenever I take money, so if I dropped $100 on something, it means I'm pulling back 110. Right? $100, I can do whatever I want, but 10% of that, right? That 10%, that $10, 10% of that $1 would go, at least $1 would go to my dry powder fund. Most likely, I'm going to take that whole 10% and I'm put that in my dry powder fund. Why? Because my dry powder fund is going to be made up of Bitcoin or PAX-G. depending on the timing of the market. It'll be one or the other. Or maybe a stable coin mixed in as well. Why? You're going to say, why a stable coin? Well, because if Bitcoin takes a nosedive, right? I don't want my money tied up there. And you'll say, well, what happens if gold takes a nosedive? It could. But I'm still holding real value. And my gold is probably going to hold more value during a downturn for Bitcoin than Bitcoin will. Which means that when Bitcoin hits its bottom, I can take some of that PAX G and flip it into Bitcoin for the ride back up. So don't hate me, but if it goes back down to 90, what is Eddie doing? That's what Eddie's doing. That's what Eddie's doing. Saving WBTC. I don't understand WBTC. I have no reason to get into that. One day we'll have to sit down and have a couple of drinks, and you can explain to me why you do that. Save 100x in fees. How is that even a thing? Save 100x in fees? Where do you get the 100x from? I'm not understanding that. Like I said, we're going to have to sit down, have a drink, maybe some barbecue, and discuss. It's an inside joke. Sorry, folks. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about this community, because we do things differently than everybody else. Our number one premise for this community is for all of us to learn, get educated, and do better at growing our bags. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. And guess what? We just had a long conversation about how we do that. But before I go, because I don't need Paula getting all on me and everything, because she'll start yapping and have an attitude problem. Who should police crypto in the United States? The SEC or the CFTC? Wow, 13 votes. 38% SEC, 38% CFTC, and 23% other. And most of those other are both of them. Yeah, I'm for both of them. But it's amazing how the numbers work out to be just about that. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. $120 WB. It cost me $12.50 to convert BTC, $120 in WBTC. Convert from what? Convert from BTC or from PAX G to BTC or backwards or forwards? No, I know what wrap Bitcoin is, but I'm like, how do you use it? Why? Okay, now I understand why you're doing it. Thank you, 8 Pause. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I want you to feel my pain. I get to get up at 3 a.m. or pick my son up at 3 a.m. It's prom night. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's all good. It's all good. Love my kids. Anyway, everybody, enjoy your evening. This is Eddie J on crypto. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, as always, thank you for your trust. Everybody have a good one. Bye-bye.